Yeah. With my guitar, it lets her town. I drew my heart in a wall, but I felt things were better.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's makeup look is on this bridal makeup look. This is a super long wearing makeup look, a very like natural kind of nudie beige with some subtle pinks and browns. So this is like a very flattering and natural kind of makeup look for your wedding day. I use a lot of very detailed techniques to kind of enhance the natural features. So if you want to know how to get this bridal makeup look, all the techniques I used to achieve this, then keep on watching. Before we start our makeup, we need to do skin prep. Skin prep is super important, especially for any makeup application. So after you've cleansed your face with whatever cleanser you use, let's do a clay mask. I'm going to use this Anua Heartleaf Pore Clay Mask. This will help shrink my pores and get rid of any dead, dried skin cells that you don't want your makeup to be clinging onto. We want a smooth, clean baby bum's face. It's just like a cream sort of squeezy bottle. Gonna apply that all over my face. Marriage is something so beautiful, isn't it? The joining of two on a very special day, proclaiming your love for one another and setting that commitment and dedication that is lifelong. It's so beautiful. A like relationship that's so meant to be really just shows and displays God's love in the center of it. Oops. I love that verse in Genesis that goes, "What God has joined together, let no one separate." I pray that if you are getting married soon, God may be at the center of your relationship. His glory will really shine through you, and you guys have been brought together for a purpose in this life. I really hope that we could all get to know God and to seek Him and to love Him and to get to know who He's all about, because He loves us so much and He really just died for all of our sins and all of our shortcomings, and in Him we have new life and life to the full. A life that is filled with peace, a life that is filled with a love that is unfathomable. And yeah, I really hope that we all get to know His love more and more every single day, and to grow in it and to live a life for Him, for He has a purpose for us and He has plans for our life that's already written before time has begun. So there's nothing to fear with God, and He's got it all under control, and all we have to do is just trust and have faith in Him. Yeah, so I hope God is the center and the foundation of your life, because when God's love is there, He can really, and He does, make such amazing things happen. And things that are like literally out of this world, unfathomable, cannot comprehend. But God is such a good God, and God is love. And when God is in your relationship will definitely flourish, even though there will be definitely hard times. But as you guys are both looking to God, as He is the center and the rock of you guys, and everything just flows and falls into perfect harmony. Yeah, God love is so good. God is so good. It's a love like no other. I'm gonna wait for this to sit for around 10 minutes and then we'll wash it off. The mask has dried and it's like tight. All fresh and clean. Now let's do a mask to rehydrate and replenish our skin. I'm going to use this one. This is the Mediheal Collagen Essential Mask. This has a tightening effect. It has collagen active 3 times. And us girls, you know, we love looking cute and pretty. But as I am reminded in Peter 3:3, beauty is great, but we shouldn't put all of our like worth and our value in outer beauty things, like always attentive to our hair, our makeup and everything, and being defined by it, or having our worth in it. Our worth is not in the outside, which is fading and perishable and it's not gonna last forever. But what matters is on the inside, the beauty we have in our inner self, a quiet and gentle spirit. But what's the point of looking amazing and beautiful? Like, what is beauty? But beauty is such a culture thing now. Yeah, what's the point of looking beautiful when you may be ugly on the inside? Everything on the outside is fading away and it's really not gonna last forever. Like, I love doing my makeup and getting ready and all that jazz, but making sure that my value and worth is not defined by outer beauty, but I do it, you know, because it's fun and it's like a gift from God that we get to do these things, but not making everything about it. Because you are beautiful just the way you are, with or without makeup. It really does not define our worth, this outer thing we have going on. What matters is in here. So after all the skin prep, I'm going to use this toner pad. This is the Neatly Daily Toner Pad. It comes in a nice container like this. Some little tweezer clips. And then it's just like this round circle thing. So I like to do this just because all of the residue from the mask and stuff, I don't want too much of that heavy layer on top that might affect the foundation and just the longevity of the makeup if it's too thick of a barrier of like product. Once that is all done, let's moisturize the face. This is a really hydrating moisture. This is the Tatcha Dewy Skin Moisturizer. Another really affordable one I like to use on my clients as well. I'll pop it right here. It's really good, much more affordable, and it's all you need for moisture. I'm just gonna be using this one today. It's like this purpley lotion. Super thick moisturizer. Kind of smells like fresh flowers. Lavenders? Ooh, it's a ultra hydrating anti-aging Japanese purple rice for dry skin. Oh, I didn't know Tatcha was made in Japan. Let's rub it in. This moisture is so nice. It's so thick and hydrating. This is actually one of the most like hydrating moisturizers I've used. So we're gonna let that sit in. Let's do the eyes first, only to avoid any like eyeshadow fallout on the foundation. So before I put any colors on, I'm gonna use a eyeshadow primer. I have this one right here. It has some pigment, a little bit of coverage too, just to create a plain blank canvas on the eyes. And this also helps the longevity of the eyeshadow. It makes the colors pop a little more as well because you're not just applying the shadow straight on. As you can see, there's like darkness on my eyes. This is a really good tip if you want your shadow to pop a little more as well and last long, because you want that for your wedding day. And you just need the tiniest bit of product, literally this tiniest layer, like this much. I'm just gonna set it with some setting powder. So for the first shade, I'm gonna use this palette by SASSINE. I'm gonna get this shade over here. This is like a kind of coolish light brown, very subtle, not too warm. I'm going for more of those cooler browns. So I like to focus the color on the outer section here, then lightly bring it inward here. Now going in with the MAC Lisa palette, using this darker brown, tiny bit warmer shade. I'm just gonna darken up my outer eye. When doing like bridal makeup, you want to make sure you're creating a strong enough pigment because a lot of the times it won't show up as vibrant on camera. So making sure that you're packing a fair amount and not a super sheer amount of product is really important because then the color won't show up as much. Pink shade here. I'm gonna put this all over my lids, especially the front half. I didn't want my eyeshadow palette shade to be only like browns. I kind of wanted a pop of a more like girly, like fresh shade. So that's why I decided to go in with this sort of pink. And it's like not a super bright pink, so it's more natural. It's like the perfect pale pink. And then to darken it up a little bit, this shade over here, I'm gonna put this all all over like my lash line, just the first half, and then add it a bit all over here, just to make that pink a little bit more vibrant, because it was a very pale pink. And I'm going to go back in with that same pink shade I went in first, just to keep that light pink shade to it. Now I'm grabbing this brown gel pencil, extremely smudge proof and waterproof, so perfect for the day. You want smudge proof makeup products. And I'm just going to do a thin line all over my lash line to create some of that definition. And then I just grab a angled brush and smudge it out, softening out the line. We're going for that diffused soft liner look. I just want a bit of that, the color, but I don't want any harsh lines. For more of a precise application, I like to get the brush and then just get the product. This one is a super creamy pencil, so that's why I can do this, and there'll be pigment on the brush. And then smudge away. I'm gonna get a really dark brown Anastasia palette, just this brown shade here. This is so pigmented. You only need a tiny like dash of it. Even then, I like to put it on the back of my hand just to make sure it's not too much. Put that on top of the liner I just did. And then I want to kind of give it a more diffused smudge look, so I'm gonna get this brush here. This brush is really good to create a more blurred out effect with the like shadows, whereas this one is just more of a precise kind of line. I'm gonna pick up the brown shade from the MAC palette. Now for the wing, I'm gonna use this pencil by Clio. This is just a brown pencil, my favorite brown eyeliner pencil. I wanted to give it a more softer look instead of a really dark liner. So this is really good just for softer shade of brown, but it's not like a warm tone. So this is just a lighter brown than the brown I used here, and I want that just for the liner so it looks a bit less harsh and more subtle and a more warmer feel to the eyes. So I'm just gonna do a slight line coming out on the ends here, elongating it with a brush. I also like to fill it in here so the line is a bit more straight and connected. And then with the brown shade again from the MAC palette, blend it out. To define the eyeliner a little bit more and make the edge a little bit sharper, I'm going to use this Dolly Wink eyeliner. All I'm going to do is just outline the line here and do a small, really small liner, connecting it to the eye. And then I'm just going to follow through with that liner on the lash line. Next, as you can see, there's a visible appearance of the liner and the shadow. So the way that I diffuse that and make that look softer and more seamless, I go in with the same brown liner and then I just basically draw over the line here. And that just kind of creates an ombre effect and the line is gone. The brown shadow, make it a bit more vibrant. So for the sparkliness of the eyes, pick up this shade here and then lightly just place it on the lids here. I like to focus the product just in the front section and a bit above my lid crease, so it can show more when I'm looking straight at someone, or if it's just on the lid here, it won't be as visible unless you are looking down or closing your eyes. So that shimmer is just for like a shimmer base, just to cover the surface of the eye, and it's very fine, so it's a good base for your shimmers. Going with a more like chunkier glitter, I'm gonna get this one right here. So this is a kind of a pinky and goldy shimmer, whereas this one, it doesn't look much different, but this one is super, super pink, like in your face pink. For it to be more subtle, I'm just gonna get this one here. Gives the prettiest pink shimmer. Let's curl the lashes. To create a more stronger, quicker curl, I'm going to heat up the lash color with some fire. What I do is just light it up and then go around the front here for a few seconds. And test how hot it is. Make sure it's not too hot. You only need to do it for maybe 3 seconds, 4 seconds. If it's too hot, then just wait a bit. And then after it's quite warm and you can hold on to it, go in to curl the lashes again. There you go. Lashes are nicely curled. Let's put some falsies. I'm using this one I got from Japan, and I just chopped them up into 4 pieces. For this lash application, we're gonna be applying the lashes underneath the lashes instead of on top. This just makes the lashes look a lot more seamless and less fake looking because it's coming out from here. So it looks a bit more natural than if it was to be placed on the top. The lashes would look a lot more noticeable. So if you want a more natural look, I really recommend testing out to apply the lashes underneath your lashes. It's really simple actually. It's not too hard at all. Once you do it a few times and you get the hang of it. I apply the glue on top of the lash band instead of under. And make sure you put like a generous amount. You don't want too little or else it won't stick as well. So put that much. Wait for around 30 seconds just for the glue to get tacky. Because if you apply it straight away, it's not going to stick nicely at all. While I wait, I just apply the glue on all of the lashes. So I just place it underneath. I make sure not to place it too close to my inner corner, or then it might feel a bit uncomfy. So you want to leave like a little bit of space, but not too much because it'll look awkward. I basically place it right on the root of the lashes underneath. And then I just go around all of my lashes, filling up my eye. After the lashes have dried, I'm going to give it a quick curl. That is just to kind of combine the lashes together and give it a little more lift. Oh, let's do the brows. I'm going to use this powder here. It's got 3 shades and I'm going to use the middle like ashy one first. And the color, it doesn't come out like this. It's just a softer kind of brown powder, but it's just a nice way to diffuse and soften up the brow shade in like filling in blank places. It just doesn't make it look as harsh. Start by filling in the top section here. And then just the whole tail of the brows. And then after that, I'm gonna get the dark brown shade, darkening the lines. So I like to just focus it here and then like the bottom section over here and the tail. The powder was just to soften up the shade of the brow and fill in some places just to create more fine lines and definition. I'm using the Can Make eyebrow pencil, and this is a really nice brow pencil because it's not too harsh. It just creates the definition needed. It's kind of like a powder finish in a pencil form, and it's more precise and defined. Filling it in a bit more again with the powder. For the brow gel, I'm using this MAC False Lash Maximizer. It's not marketed for the brows, but I like to use it because it kind of works the same. It gives a pretty like strong hold as well. It's like this white kind of color. Brush through my brows. I like to bring the top part upward. I feel like putting it upward, just the top section, kind of gives that more fresh, youthful look. But I don't like it to stick up too much, so I make sure to kind of subtle it out. I'm going to use the white shade. Just go around the perimeters of the eyebrow. So we'll come back to like the lower lashes and the under eye makeup. We need to apply our base. So for the base, I'm going to be using the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. This is a super long wearing high coverage foundation. You could also make it more sheer by just applying a thinner layer, but this is just really good for like long lasting makeup. But before this, let's do primer. I'm going to use the Professional Primer. I always like to use this to minimize and hide my pores because this fills in all like any big pores you may have or small ones, and then it just creates that smooth base. Perfect like under foundation. It makes your skin look less bumpy. It makes the foundation like application more smooth and seamless. The foundation, let's give it a good shake. Gonna pour some on the back of my hand with a foundation brush. This is just like a flat tapered one, and I'm going to just put like a thin layer all over my face. And then after I do that, I go in with my sponge and just blend it out. I like to just use a brush first just to cover all the surfaces, and then blending it with the sponge is just a lot more easier and quicker. Any area where I'd want more coverage, I'll just go in with the foundation again. I like to add a bit more like on the fronts of my face here, make it look a bit more polished and flawless. Pro tip, I learned this in beauty school. If you want to create that super flawless, like photoshopped makeup foundation base for your wedding day, you should double layer your foundation. I don't want mine to be too thick, but if you want just flawless base, so foundation and then powder your face until it's like super matte, no tackiness at all, and then go in with the foundation again and then powder. That is the secret to like the flawless bridal makeup. I'm just gonna do a little bit on my neck here. To do a little bit of color correcting, especially for the dark circles, I'm gonna use this color correcting palette by NYX, the salmon shade. I'm gonna get a little bit of that on my fingers and then just place that on the darkness under my eyes, like especially just the line here. And I like to use my fingers because I feel like that creates a lot more coverage, less moving and shifting of the base. So grabbing like a solid amount of product and just bouncing it in really quickly in that one section, that gets the most out of the coverage of this color corrector. And now for concealer, I'm going to use the same concealer. Place this under my eyes, nose, chin, my forehead, my smile lines. I'm going to use a concealer brush to just thin out the product lightly. And then I'll go in with my beauty blender and just buff it out. I also like to use a concealer that's just a tiny bit lighter than my like natural skin tone, just so it offers that brightening like lift effect. So after that, let's powder our face. I like to go in with the Laura Mercier powder with a more precise brush. I'm just gonna first set my under eyes. And using this décolleté powder, it's a really nice fine powder. It kind of gives a little bit of illuminative like iridescence, very subtle, but if you don't want like a super flat matte face, this is really good, and it mattifies and sets the face. It's like a loose powder. It's like a bit of that an iridescent kind of sheen. Place this all over my face. To add some extra coverage on top of that, to make it a bit more flawless, I like to go in with a foundation powder with my sponge. So I'll just get some product like this and then just pack on the areas I want some more coverage. So if your face still is a bit sticky, that means the foundation hasn't been fully set. So to fully set it, just apply more powder and it should feel matte and soft. That's when you know your face is fully set and your makeup will last much longer. Don't forget to powder your neck here. Okay, so after that, let's bronze up our face a little bit. I'm gonna use this contour bronzer powder. This is from my makeup academy. She has like a whole line of products online. I'm just gonna get a tiny bit because this is very pigmented. I'm just gonna do a light line here. Just really focusing the product like near the roots of my hair. Just diffuse the product like up a little bit on my jawline. And then I like to do a bit on my chin here, just like a little kind of semicircle, just to create that chin definition. I'm going to use the B shading powder. This is a much more cooler brown, much more subtle than the one I just used. So I like to go in with this on top of that, just to soften it out and like add a bit more color without it being too warm. More of just like a contour shade. Forehead. So for the blush, this is a bit more of a throwback brand. This is Makeup Geek. It's like a pinky peach, very fresh, youthful shade. I think this is like the perfect bridal makeup blush, and it's so pigmented. You only need a tiny bit of product. It just gives that very soft blush look without it being too harsh. Grab a little bit, place it on the cheeks. And I like to put it in the center here and then bring it up here a little bit. How beautiful is this blush shade, everyone? Bit on the nose. The look is finally coming together. To add a bit of like glow and sheen to the blush, NARS Orgasm Blush. This just has some illuminating specks. Just lightly top that off. And this just makes it a little bit more pinkier too, with some gold speck. For highlighter, I'm going to be using MAC Soft and Gentle. Cannot go wrong with this highlighter. Just to make it a bit stronger on my nose, I like to go in with some product on my finger and then add that there. Let's go back to the eye makeup. Using the pink shade here, I'm going to place that all under my lash line. Kind of avoiding the front section though. Add very lightly to the outer lower lash line. I kind of want that clean look, so I don't want to put any super dark shades on the lower shadows. Yeah, just doing that adds a little bit of definition to the lower lashes. Now let's define the aguisole, that, eye fat, to give it a more youthful, cute look. I like to go in with my contour powder. You want like a cool brown-ish shade. Nothing warm at all. Do not use warm shades. You need like a cool brown. So I just mix these two colors. And then I just define that line here. If you just squint a little bit. To add a bit more pigment, I like to use the Roman palette. These two shades. It just gives it a stronger definition. With this white shade, white cream shade, place it under here. Just like halfway under the eye. You could just leave it like that, but if you want some glitter, I'm going to use this Sugar Twinkle Liquid Shimmer. It's like this goopy kind of product. Getting a tiny brush, I'm just gonna lightly pack it on under here. Make sure you don't drag because this is like liquidy, so by dragging it, it could move the base makeup. So just pressing. Let's add some mascara to the lower lashes. I'm using the Kiss Me Hero and Make one. My brow here, I want to lift it up a little bit because the hairs kind of go down. I'm going to go back in with the brow gel by a bit more of a generous amount to just stick it up. Now for the lips, I'm gonna first go in with this kind of lip tint, liquid lip tint. This is the Dior Lip Addict Tint in 421, and this is optional, but I like to just add like a base color on my lips just to have that kind of tattooed on, not tattooed, but that base shade, just in case my lip color will like rub off during the day. I'll still have that extra shade on. Blend it out with my fingers. Super light layer of this. I'm gonna lightly lip line with this Urban Decay pencil in the shade Broken. So just do a soft line, and I like to connect my Cupid's bow a little bit for that soft blurred look. And then I just like to blend it out. You can even use a brush to kind of blend it out. To kind of mattify and add more of that blurred look, I'm gonna get this shade that I used for my eyeshadow. Lightly dust the edges out. Then going in with the 3CE lip tint, and this is like a nudish pink shade. Soften it out with my fingers again. I also like to kind of blend this, like the upper lip section, and creating a little bit of a curve here. Gives that kind of like that smile line effect. It kind of lifts up the lip here. You could just leave it like that if you just want it matte. Probably what I would want to do, maybe. To add some sheen to it, I'm using this Gucci lipstick, and it's like a peachy pink shade, kind of similar to this. And there you go. That is the completed look. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope this video is of inspiration and value for you if you do decide to do your own makeup for your wedding. And remember that true beauty lies within. The outer is fleeting and fading away, but what is inside the heart, the imperishable quality of a gentle and quiet spirit.